I have this, for me, it's a burning question, and it's about time. And recently, it was introduced to me that time is not linear, and that you can step into any place in time that you choose to. And I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around that. Can you help me with that?
Well, we hear things like that from people from time to time. So let's just start with the sentence that time is not linear. And now we want to give you another statement to sort of try to merge the two, that before you sat down here, all that is was slightly less than it is now. That in every exposure, and we're going to say in time and space, that there is more attraction. So let's just take the subject away from time for just a moment and think in terms of more and less. There is always more. There is more now than there was then, and there is more now than there was then, and there's more now than there was then. Because as thoughts converge and law of attraction responds to the thoughts, there's more attraction power, so it just continues to be more and more and more and more. So that, in essence, is linear. Because you can't go back. You just said that to us. You can't go back to less than what is. You cannot go back. So just rest with that for just a little bit. If we were standing in your physical shoes, instead of thinking in terms of time, we'd be thinking in terms of expansion and more and more and more. Now, this is the most specific burning answer to your burning question. We like this question so much, and we like this answer so much. So here you are, out here on the leading edge, and there has been so much that has gone before that equals the now in which you are standing. And whether you want to call that moreness time or not, the word doesn't matter, but the fact is there is the most specifically focused experience that is happening now than ever before. Because each moment in time that passes, there is more exposure to vibration and more focus. And so when we think about time, the significant thing about time is that it's always now. Esther remembers she and Jerry going to Australia with some of you, and it was so interesting that when they called back to the office, it was yesterday. Esther would say to them, "We're living your future, and when you get there, you're going to like it." But of course, that was silly because it was all happening right now. So here we are, non-physically focused, but we're focused with you in your now. And this is the thing that we most want to extract from your question and answer. And then we can fill in the details if you're not satisfied still. But this is the most significant conversation about time. Everything that has lived still lives. So everything that you want to call past is still present, because no one ever ceases to exist. And so all of that past experience of your own past lives and your own dearly departed, they are all non-physically focused, but they are all still focused forward in what you want to call time, what we want to call now, here with you. And so if you can look at time more as the moment in time, the junction where you in your physicalness meet all of us in our non-physicalness, and then you try to accept that there is never any going back, there is always only this moment and forward, then you begin to get a sense that we have to call it linear, because it's more. Of course you can imagine the past, and of course you can imagine the future. But people who are trying to make it sound like there are a lot of other dimensions and a lot of other times, and that you could go back in time, and that there are people that are actually living back in time, that's just not true. There are not people that are living back in time. It is our promise to you, everyone who has been, who is now non-physically focused, is here on the leading edge with you in what you call your time. And so this moment is more than the moment before, and this one and this one and this one, because you're exposing yourself to life, and you're putting more in your vortex, and you're coming into vibrational alignment, and we are all focused forward in time right now with you. Of course you can remember your past, but and this is why we're getting so exhilarated as we are following this train of thought, is that your inner being never looks back. Your inner being never looks back. Your inner being is always focused on this expansive, delicious sweet spot, watching you moving from where you are to where you really mean to be. And in fact, your inner being is not even focused on where you are. Your inner being is focused upon where you really are vibrationally, which in your vernacular you would call where I'm going in terms of physical manifestation. Your inner being is so forward looking, never looking back. So for someone to begin to say or to believe that some of you are living in the 16th century or the 14th or the 13th, or it's just not the way that it is, because it is the leading edge that we are all exhilarated about. It's the new conversation. This conversation has never been before, not like this, unto all of the universe. This combination of who you are and what you know and who you are and this burning question that you are asking has never been before. It has never had a juncture meeting non-physical in the way that it is right now. It has just become more. And you've got to accept that as linear, because you can't go back. If someone says to you, there is no time, and they're speaking it from a valid point, and you think, well, and yet we all met here at 9 o'clock and we're gonna go eat about 1 o'clock, and so let's use the word focus instead of time. Let's use the word now. Can you exist? Can you focus? Can you be other than now? Can you be then? No. Can you be then? No. It's all happening right now. And everything that we're talking to you about is about the thrill of you letting your perspective now and your inner being's perspective now be on the same vibrational wavelength. It's happening now. Do you know that if there were not only one powerful now, you couldn't feel emotions, positive or negative? Because the emotion that you feel is your indication of what your inner being is focused upon now, and what you're focused upon now. And the vibrational harmony or lack of harmony is what equals the emotion that you feel. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. So anyone who has ever lived, let's talk about this dimension in which you are familiar, this time and space reality as you sort of understand it to be. Everyone who has ever been here and everyone who has ever thought anything, that thought still exists. And if the thought was not considered by a lot of others, it may exist in its original, undeveloped form. Or if it's a thought that many have thought about collectively, maybe because it's on television now, or over time it was passed on from generation to generation, so the thought was considered a lot. Those thoughts take on greater vibrational momentum and they become greater form. So every thought that has ever been thought still exists. As you came forth from non-physical, you came as love and upliftment and high frequency vibration. You came from the culmination of all that's ever been lived. Now, humans want to call that God. Doesn't matter what you call it, but it's the source of energy that continues to expand. So this high frequency, meaning no resistance from your perspective, there's contrast in everything, but you couldn't discern it. As this high frequency vibration is the genesis of that which you are, and you come forth into this time and space reality, your opportunity to explore contrast is keener than that of your inner being. It's the decision that you made. It's what happens when, we haven't said this to you before. It's what happens when, as non-physical energies, you focus into action orientation, into manifestation. And there's so much we want to give you all at once. We're happy that you're up to speed with this. And that is, in fact, why. As you come into this time and space and you explore and you launch new rockets of desire, those rockets that we talk about emanating from you, your desire, are received by your inner being and then focused upon by that part of you. So we want to say, and this isn't the precise and accurate terminology, but it's the closest that Esther can find for what we mean. It's like a purifying process. It's like you sorted through the contrast and you came to a conclusion maybe even at unconscious levels. When someone's rude, you know you want them to be nicer, for example, and you launch this rocket, and your inner being then becomes a clarifying process of that and holds the pure intent that you put into the vortex. Now, you don't hold the pure intent. You're over here usually feeling the reason that you launched the rocket. So you're nowhere close to pure about what you want. You're still holding the grudge that made you want the improvement. But your inner being took the improvement. And it's this vortex that we are describing, and this non-physical, growing, expanding energy that we call source energy. Now, of course, it's logical that every thought you think does that. In other words, when you worry about something, it's like you launch a rocket into another vortex. So we want to make a distinction between this desire that is tended by your non-physical inner being and the thoughts that are just the spin-off of man's conscious thought. Sometimes someone will have a very negative feeling thought that will lead to, by earth standards, a very heinous deed. And you will wonder, well, what caused the expansion of that? And that's when we say every thought that has ever been thought still exists. And law of attraction gathers not just these pure positive thoughts, not just these thoughts of love and appreciation and source, but law of attraction gathers all thoughts. And because law of attraction is active upon every vibration, those thoughts grow and expand too. Now, getting back to the conversation that you were introducing. So let's acknowledge that your inner being has knowledge beyond your comprehension, which is another way of saying knowledge beyond your right now current ability to find a receptive mode for. So when you are involved in your own life experience here in this environment that you know, it's more likely for you to hook up with your inner being and take thought beyond. But when you're asking questions about other planets that are confusing to you, of other experiences where you don't have any basis of knowing or understanding, when you're getting your conversation from movies you've watched or from scary things that people are offering, then you're somewhere else and you're not going to find that clarity. But what if you've asked the question, so you've put it into your vortex, and then you don't try to define it, you just get into that meditative state. In time, everything that you've been able to find a question for, it is our promise to you that you will find an answer for. And a lot of that are the descriptions that others are offering about other dimensions and things like that. That is, in fact, what is going on. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've not heard us be very encouraging about that. Because we know that you've come with enough purpose here in this physical environment to live happily ever after. And your intention isn't to know everything that could ever be known, because you know that you're an eternal being who will never cease to be. You know that there will never be an end to who you are. You know that there will never be an end to the expansion that is you. And so you just want to watch yourself and see if you're getting into that lack-based questioning. Why is it that you want to know? Why is it that you want to know what you want to know? Is it for the enhancement of your own experience? Or is it because you want some more evolved crowd on some other more evolved leading edge to come and save you from your own destruction? There are a lot of reasons that a lot of people are reaching into that. This conversation, is it a satisfying conversation or a not satisfying conversation to you? Satisfying? Not satisfying? In other words, it's sort of a mixed bag, isn't it? And it's because you can't really, as you said several times, you can't really get your thoughts around it. Is there more out there? Yes. Does most of it have anything to do with you? No. It's sort of like Noah's book here in this physical environment. Most of the things that you think you want to give your attention to have little or nothing to do with you. And so we just want you to ask the question about anything that you're focusing upon. Is the mere focusing upon it enhancing your experience? And if it is, if it feels elating to you, like elation or fascination or strong interest, then that means there's enough in your vortex that has come into a frequency that could manifest into something that is tangible for you, and therefore you should pursue it. Does that clarify it?
Thank you so much.